Hi everyone, welcome to The Talk, brought to you by the Relax Nation, home of the Pinnacle Therapeutic Massage. I am your host, Monique Johnson-Dixon, and today we're going to be talking about stress, especially with it being Stress Awareness Month. So, we're going to be talking about ways to determine your level of stress, and then we're going to look at some stress busters. So, as you're aware, or if you're not aware, there are a host of quizzes and tests out there that help you determine your level of stress. But I want to make it a little bit simpler than all those billions of tests and quizzes that are out there. So, I've come up with a little questionnaire to help you determine your level of stress. Instead of it being 15 to 20 questions in length, I'm only going to break it down to 8 questions. And this scale is going to go from 1 to 5, 1 being rarely, 5 being this happens often. So here are some ways to help you determine your level of stress. 1. Do you experience one or more of the symptoms of excessive stress, such as tension, pain in the neck or shoulders, or headaches? If you are experiencing those things, chances are you're probably stressed, and you would probably score higher on the 1 to 5 scale. Second question, do you find it difficult to even concentrate on what you are doing because of the deadlines or other tasks that must be completed? If you feel that you are having trouble completing tasks or anything, then that means you're probably having some difficulties. You're probably more stressed than you actually realize you are. Sometimes we are unaware of our stress. So think about it. Would you score as a 1? Rarely is this the case, or 5? This often happens. Question 3. Do you become irritable when you have to wait in line or get caught in a traffic jam? Now that might be sort of a tricky question because people will say, well, it depends on the circumstance. But if this is something that happens to you on a regular, consistent basis, even when you shouldn't be irritable or worked up about it, then chances are you're probably going to score higher on the scale than lower. Next question is, do you have the tendency to wake up in the night thinking about all the things that you must do the next day? If you constantly are waking up in the middle of the night and you just can't seem to get enough sleep, chances are you're going to score high on the scale again. And preferably, we would like you to score lower on the scale. Next question. Do you become upset because things just simply have not gone your way? How do you handle that? Do you just automatically get upset all the time? And if this is the case, then again, you're going to score high on the scale. Not a great thing. Next question. Do you forget about appointments and or lose objects or forget where you put them? Now that's also a tricky question as well too, because we're only human. And in being human, there are times that we are going to forget where we put things. But if it becomes excessive, then that means, again, you're going to score high on the scale. But if it's something that rarely happens, you're going to be lower on the scale, which is a good thing. Next question, do you take on too many responsibilities? Basically, do you not know how to say no? So if you're always taking on too many responsibilities, that is going to end up adding a lot of stress because you're always going to be trying to figure out, how am I going to get this all done? So again, you're going to score high on the scale. But if you are mindful about the responsibilities you take on and you are able to say no, you'll probably be lower on the scale. And the last question in determining your stress level is, do you have the tendency to lose your temper and get irritable? Even if it's over something that is very minute, such as the pen just kind of rolling off to the side. Think about it. If simple things make you get irritable, chances are you are stressed. So in thinking about the questions that I just asked you, 8 questions, and thinking about how you score, remember this is a scale from 1 to 5, 1 being rarely, 5 being often. How did you do? If you scored relatively high, for example, if you scored more than, let's say, more than 35 points and above, then that means you have a very high level of stress, and maybe you were not aware of it. If you scored 24 points and below, you're lower on the stress scale. Your stress is manageable. But I always urge everyone to be careful about their stress. Again, because sometimes we're not aware of how stressed we are. So, now that you've gotten a little insight in determining your stress, how can you manage it? What are some great stress buster tips to help you get through? Well, I'm not going to give all my tips away, but I am going to share a few of them with you. So, tip number 1, and of course I do have them written down because I wanted to make sure that I didn't forget. That's part of keeping stress at bay. One of the stress busters is surrounding yourself with I like to say, personally satisfying environment, meaning in your environment, where you live, where you stay, where you work, that you make it feel warm, that you make it feel inviting, that it is conducive to you. So that when you walk into that environment, you know, I'm relaxed. I can let my hair down and not feel as stressed. Second tip, be realistic about how you schedule your day. Sometimes we overburden ourselves, tying in with that question about, do you take on too many responsibilities? If you set your day realistically, it will help in reducing your stress. So that's my second tip. My third tip for you is, if you do have a lot of responsibilities and tasks on your plate, I always recommend trying to tackle the unpleasant task first while you are feeling fresh and energetic. It makes it a lot more smoother to tackle those unpleasant tasks when you are feeling fresh and energetic. My next tip for you is to focus on one thing at a time. A lot of people say, I can multitask, but the reality is that it is difficult to multitask because something is going to be pushed aside or forgotten about. So try to do one task at a time. I know that seems a little unrealistic, but it can happen. Next tip is to be honest with yourself and with others. Being honest in what your expectations, your goals are, is crucial to helping you reduce your stress. My next tip, keep things in perspective. Sounds easy enough, but a lot of times people get so caught up in everything that they forget about keeping things in perspective. My next tip is learn to say no. Learning to say no is extremely important, and don't feel guilty about saying no. You know yourself, you know your responsibilities, you know your schedule. And in order to take care of you, it's important for you to learn how to say no. My next tip is accept imperfection in yourself as well as in others. We're human. So that means we're not going to be perfect. Even though some people like to think they are perfect, the reality is we're not all perfect. So accept your imperfections and accept that others are not going to be perfect. Next, let go of the past. We've all done things in our past that maybe we're not so proud of, but don't let yourself get caught up in thinking about all those things. Think about your future, think about your current, and just keep it moving. And last but not least, and this one, and they're all important, but this one is important because it ties in to the Relax Nation. Care for yourself physically and emotionally. Physically, taking care of yourself means nurturing yourself. And the best way to nurture yourself is to get a massage. Especially getting a massage here at the Relax Nation. And not only will it help take care of you physically, but emotionally, when your body is relaxed and at ease, emotionally, it'll help you feel better. So in order to schedule a massage here at the Relax Nation, make sure you go to www.the-relaxnation.com. Appointments can only be scheduled online, and we hope that you will take advantage of getting a massage to help yourself. So with all that said and done, I hope that you learned a little bit more about determining your levels of stress, and that you also took away some wonderful stress busters. Until next time, see you on the talk. Have a great day.